Most air fryers are dumb appliances. You set the temperature, you set the time, and you hope for the best. But this one right here is different. This is the Viomi 8-litre smart air fryer, and it actually thinks for itself. AI food recognition, a full colour smart display, and a cooking range that goes well beyond what most fryers will offer. So let's put it through its paces. So first impression, straight out of the box, the thing that's going to hit you is the display. This is not your standard digital readout. It is a full TFT colour screen, and it does look genuinely premium. It's responsive, clear, and actually enjoyable to use. Then you've got the viewing window, which again sounds like a small thing until you're mid-cook and realise you can check on your food without losing any of the heat. The basket slides out smoothly, the non-stick coating feels solid, and there's a max fill line inside which tells you exactly how much you can load in. For an 8-litre capacity, it is a substantial unit, but the footprint is sensible. The build quality feels like it punches above its price point. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on with this thing. So the headline feature here on the 8-litre model is AI recognition. The food is facing the camera, the air fryer identifies what you're cooking, and it recommends the time and temperature automatically. I'm going to show you that in action a little bit later. It removes the guesswork entirely, which is genuinely useful if you're the kind of cook who's never quite sure whether chicken needs 180 or 200. Beyond the AI, you've got a full DIY mode, independent time and temperature control from 30 degrees up to 200 degrees, and that 30-degree floor is worth flagging because most fryers bottom out around 80 to 90. But at 30 you can proof dough, gently warm food, or do things a standard fryer simply won't be able. Timing runs from 1 to 60 minutes with 1 minute precision, and there are 12 preset menus built directly in, all accessible through that TFT display, which is straightforward to navigate. There's also a smart turn reminder telling you when to flip or shake your food mid-cook. And pull pause auto resume, which means the moment you pull the drawer out, it pauses automatically and then picks back up when you push it back in. Small features, but they do add up to a much more foolproof cooking experience. And then there's the viewing window with an independent oven light. Turn the light on, have a peer through the glass, and you can see exactly what's happening inside without touching anything. So for anything that needs monitoring, like what we're cooking today, that's genuinely handy. But before we get a little deeper into the actual cooking experience, I do want to address something that comes up every time I review an air fryer, and to be honest, rightly so, that is energy consumption. So this unit runs 1800 watts, which I know does sound like a high amount until you remember that a traditional oven sits between 2000 and up to 5000 watts and still takes 15 to 20 minutes just to preheat. The Viomi here is ready in moments, in seconds. The actual energy used with an air fryer such as this is always going to be substantially lower than the traditional oven equivalent, because the runtime is shorter and there's no preheat costs to absorb. So for the AI test, I prepped some chicken drumsticks. They've been coated in a mix of garlic and baking powder, and that baking powder is important because it's going to draw the moisture out of the skin and give an incredibly crispy result. And once they're cooked, I'm going to finish them in a glaze of parmesan, melted butter and parsley. So you can see right here what the AI makes of them. It's picked them up first time correctly as chicken, and there are also the recommended settings. I'm going to just go ahead and accept those, and we're going to let the cooking begin. You can see the chicken thighs right through the window. The skin is already starting to colour up a little bit deeper into the cook, and when the turn reminder fires, I'll flip them and we'll get even colour all the way around. And there we go, look at that. So the skin is properly crispy, that baking powder coating has done exactly what it was supposed to, and the parmesan butter glaze has caught just enough to give it that golden finish. So the AI recommendation here has been spot on. I didn't need to fanny about touching the settings, and this is a genuinely delicious plate of chicken. Here's another example. I've got some sausages in the drawer and the AI is able to detect those without issue, and it has the required time and temperature automatically. Next up, I've got some frozen fish fingers here. The kids love their fish fingers, don't they? Pop those into the drawer and the air fryer is able to detect those using the smart settings, and again put the time and temperature in ready to go. And so for the next example, let's go for a beautiful cookie with a hot chocolate centre. Now, this isn't something that most people will think of when they think of air fryers, but actually with good temperature control and the viewing window to monitor it, it's entirely doable. So I'm just going to keep an eye on those temperatures and make sure it's at some conservative settings, using that viewing window as well to keep an eye on it rather than just setting a timer and walking away. And I do love the fact you can look through that window and actually see it spreading and rising slightly. That's exactly what you want. So the outside has a proper bake on it, some nice golden set edges, and the centre is exactly how we wanted it. Melted, glossy, gorgeous chocolate. So that is a proper result from an air fryer. And honestly, if I hadn't told you it wasn't from an oven, you would probably never know. But right, let's talk about cleaning, because this matters more than people give it credit for. A fryer you dread cleaning is a fryer that's going to end up at the back of the cupboard. But here, the non-stick coating holds up well across all of the cooks that I've done. The chicken fat hasn't stuck, everything wipes away cleanly. The drawer itself is completely dishwasher safe, which for most households is going to be the thing that actually decides whether this gets used daily or weekly. Chuck it in the dishwasher, put it out clean, done. No scrubbing, no soaking, that's the standard it needs to meet, and it meets it. So ultimately, who is this for? Well, if you're a confident home cook who wants a smart appliance that keeps up with you, this is genuinely worth your attention. The AI recognition is not a gimmick. It works accurately in all of my testing, and it recommended sensible settings, and it produced good results without me having to interfere. For anyone who ever second-guessed themselves on time or temperature, that alone is going to be worth a lot. The onboard display is a genuine step up from a standard panel. The temperature range is unusually versatile. That 30-degree floor opens up some use cases most fryers won't touch, and the viewing window earns its keep. And the cleaning experience is about as painless as it gets. So if I'm being honest about what to consider, it's a slightly larger unit, so make sure your counter space is going to work for that. And the AI recognition, while impressive, works best with whole recognisable cuts of food. Heavily coated or mixed dishes will need to use the DIY mode, which by the way is still totally excellent. It's just worth knowing that going in. At its price point, this is definitely a strong option. The smart features are well implemented and not just bolted on for marketing purposes, and day to day it just produces good food with less effort than most. So the link to grab this is in the description below. I will pop both the 7 litre and this 8 litre model down there so you can compare. And if this review has helped you out, please hit like, it genuinely makes a difference, and subscribe if you want to see more reviews like this in future, and I'll see you in the next one.